Oh, hey there, everybody. I'm not even sure if I'm gonna post this video or not. It's just one that I guess I'm trying to get together because it's one of the things I haven't really talked about, and that's why I'm actually going to be moving into a van. Um, there's a lot of different reasons behind it, and in some ways, reasons like today are kind of a good example. Um, I didn't do a whole lot today. Part of that is because there's one last little thing electrically that I want to have taken care of in the van before I start going all guns blazing on driving it daily and moving forward with the refab on the inside. Um, which isn't a lot. At this point, it's kind of more figuring out what kind of storage I want in there and exactly where I want what. But she's got a bed in her, so in that way, for me, we're already ready to go if it came down to it. It's just making sure that electrically and engine wise and all that stuff, she's as primo as possible from the very beginning. Today's been one of those days where I've been antsy all day. I've played the guitar. I've gone through the house and done a little bit, not much. There's definitely more I need to do, but it's been more of a mental than physical antsiness. Um, I think it's partly because I know there's a couple months until I'm really at the point of where I'm doing this full time, and I really wish I was doing it full time now. I've missed being on the road. Um, I haven't been on the road in a long time, and the times before when I was on the road were different. Um, Mostly because I was just living outside. I would take off around somewhere in the vicinity of like 50 to 70 bucks in my pocket, and I'll change this a little bit, trying to add a little more view there. Oh, that big screen in the back is just photos of me, so you ain't got to worry about any copyrighted stuff coming up. Those are just all my photos. We'll be saying goodbye to that big screen too, but I don't care because the view out the side is way bigger than that is of the van. View out the side of the van. Um, but yeah, in my 20s, I ended up falling in love with the Venice Santa Monica area and would land down there with anywhere from $50 to $75 in my pocket and a backpack. That was it. Um, Back then, if you were living outside, you couldn't have a tent up. That wasn't going to happen. And we can get into what I think about that another time. Let's just say I don't agree with tents. Um, I think primarily because I myself definitely made the choice to go outside the times I did. I knew what I was getting myself into, and I realized it was my choice. I could have done something else rather than go be a beach bum for 9 months to a year. But that's what I did, and I found a real love. I found a real passion of just not being contained like we are nowadays. I mean, don't get me wrong, I have enjoyed having this apartment. I've had this apartment for 7 years. Potentially the longest place I have lived, especially by myself, especially in a place as big as this, is a large two-bedroom apartment. I normally do like a one-bedroom or a studio if I'm going to do something on my own because I want to pay the least. But this was kind of one of the cheapest things out there when I got it about 7 years ago. This place, I'm in Beaverton, Oregon. Um, And this place, I think, was like $9.75 a month when I first got here 7 years ago. And at this point, it's right around 1150, almost 1200, with a little couple of bills to the side. But it ain't bad, man. I mean, realistically, for what people are paying out there these days, it ain't bad. And that's one of the things that pisses me off, because realistically, 1100 plus a month fucking sucks. I really don't think any of us should have to stress that much, work that much, just to have a decent place to stay. Um, Being able to find a studio for like $300-400 in any city is just, it's a fallacy nowadays. It's not going to happen, and if you find it, you probably wouldn't want to be there. So there's a lot of stress. I mean, I can't deny it. I'm getting older, and I definitely have a skill set. I've been a coffee roaster and cafe manager in the past, as well as obviously a barista. Um, did a lot of sales over the years. Would be Nordstrom's and Meyer and Frank. Well, a lot of people would know that more as Macy's, or back in the day, Robinson's May, or Dillard's. Meyer and Frank was the same thing. Ran a music store for about a year, and a few other odd jobs here and there. And whenever I ended up outside down in the Venice area, first time I was there, I'm just going to give a little rough overviews. We may go deeper into those some other day, but not today. The first time I was down there, I ended up moving furniture for about a month, and I was making $100 a day. And then I met this couple from New Orleans that was doing hair wraps, and because I was a cool long-haired kid back then, I knew what hair wraps were. I'd seen them by that point. But what I'd seen in Portland was nothing as near attractive as what this couple was doing. So I had them teach me what they were doing. And then I went to Santa Monica Pier and did that for about 7 months. And on a bad day, I walked off the pier with 150. On the weekends, I walked off with 300. And after, forgive me, my nose is just itching the heck out of me all of a sudden. And that just, beautiful as hell. There, just finally take care of it. But yeah, I would walk off the pier with like $300 and go have one hell of a night, crash on a lifeguard shack down on the beach. Never paid rent, rarely slept inside. I had plenty of places I could go sleep inside. I had plenty of places I'd go take a shower on a regular basis, and that I definitely took advantage of. But it was amazing because I got to wake up on the beach, and I mean, just things I remember are that sun coming up over those bluffs, and that fog that Santa Monica can get from time to time. And I remember the day I saw a baby seal just crawling along Santa Monica Beach. It's only a few minutes before it was back in the water, but that's what I woke up to. You don't get to wake up to that in here. I mean, this is nice. That screen's beautiful, but it's just a screen. And, I think like many, especially after this last year and a half, have found themselves more indoors with themselves and maybe their thoughts more than they have in a really long time. I definitely went through that. Several degrees, good, bad, indifferent. Several degrees of just thinking. And as much as I dislike it, the reality is we aren't going to put a brake or a throttle on this price of living. It's going to continue to increase, and we consistently find ways to make what we're already doing cost ourselves more. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I have been able to have benefits off of things like Uber Eats and Instacart by actually doing them as a way to make money. But you're adding anywhere from like $10 to $15 to do something you could have just done and paid like maybe $1 in gas for, all told. But we're being made to feel that, again, our time is just worth so much, so it would be better to just spend that money now and be able to stay at home and be safe, or just cut that time out and be able to hang with this or that person instead, or with yourself. we just make everything cost more and more and more and more, and it's catching up to us. I mean, we see it all across the country. We have this explosion of homelessness, and I think any paying attention probably know we're going to have a just literal money shot of an explosion of homelessness come the end of June. You know, unless the eviction moratorium actually gets extended across the country, which I don't know if it will. We've had a long time of people actually not having to worry for the first time of, oh, I can't make this rent, but I don't automatically have to worry about losing everything. There's a lot of people out there that want the money coming back in, and I mean, I can't fault them. I like I said, I was a business manager myself. I understand money needs to come in. It can't just be a free thing. But I get tired of just feeling like I'm running around that whole rat race all the time, doing all that I can do to barely afford a place to live and go out and have some fun. And so my thoughts would consistently go back to those days in Santa Monica and Venice through a lot of this, of where I had far more freedom and definitely a lot more fun. I was younger and crazier and wilder, no question. And considering you can probably see in the window there, I have a cat that I wouldn't want to just leave behind. I actually have two. But, yeah. There's been a lot of thinking behind this. A lot of thinking behind this. And truth of the matter is, I own the van thanks to a couple of very close friends of my mom, and fortunately me. They helped in ways that I would not have thought possible. And because of that, I am now sitting on a van that has just one little more electrical thing that we need to figure out. The console isn't responding the way it is. We think we figured it out. It's probably going to be like another $150. I'm hoping for it's all finally done and dialed, and she is 100% back to what I need. And I mean, in all sincerity, as much as it sucks, I knew there was going to be some money going into any van I bought, so I made sure to get the youngest in the engine and straightest and more solid of body I could find, and work with what I had from there until it was ready to go, which is why I'm glad I have 2 months. And there have been times where I took that backpack and $75 and was out of a situation in like a couple days. So I think that's maybe where some of this antsiness comes from too, is when I make a decision to do something like this, I normally don't have this long to figure things out. I have this long because I'm waiting for the title for the van before I leave, and I also have to get the title for the car that I have now because it's lost somewhere in the apartment and I can't find it, so I need to get a new one so I can sell that car and have a little money to pay back one of the people that helped me out with this, because she went beyond what was needed, and also have a little bit of a nugget in my pocket when I leave. I don't know if I'm making any sense with any of this, so I'm not sure if I'm going to post this. But I'm really tired of being inside. I'm thankful that I was able to create an apartment like this, decorate it the way that I have, learn the things about myself while I was in here, reconnecting with my mom, becoming familiar with the guitar and falling in love with it again, creating a really great relationship with my buddy Aaron, who now actually lives upstairs above me for the last few years. And just having the joy of being able to come home and close the door and just be by myself when that was needed. But like a lot of us, as we get further and further into a home, whether it be house or apartment. It's where you want to be. It's where you like to be, and it should be. Yeah, I mean, I can't deny it. I like this place. It's big. Um, it's decorated with stuff that I like. My cats are very familiar with it. It's their home. Really? Do you want to be on camera? Do you have anything to actually add, or was that just a hi, look at me? Now you see some of what I deal with. But anyway, no, she still has something to say. Um, Luna May, if you need some attention, you come over here. Don't sit like the breadbasket over there thinking I'm going to just stop this whole video and come say hi. Mm-hmm. Yeah, look away. Can I continue? Okay. She's going to meow again. But yeah, and I mean, that right there, that's one of the reasons why I really kept this place and wasn't thinking about van life beyond like, oh, that dream in a few years down the road when I can actually afford it and don't have animals like cats with me because I don't think they do well in the van, and it's just not something I was really considering. Now we are. Now they've been in the van. Now that I have the van, I know it's not going to be the easiest transition ever for them, but I do think it's one they will enjoy once it's actually done. And I see that I have rambled for like 15, almost 16 minutes. This isn't going to get any kind of playthrough, so I'm going to go ahead and try and wrap this up. My God, I really have rambled, and I'm really sorry for that. But yeah, I just want to be out there again, rolling up and down the Oregon and California coast, taking photos. I'm going to do Instacart for work, as well as try and get some of my origami stuff out into some of the stores for, tourist sales. Ain't gonna lie about it. I think some of the things I do could sell really easily to tourists, and I also know that when I finally make my way down to places like Santa Monica and Venice and Ocean Beach down in San Diego, I can easily just set up somewhere and put some of my stuff out and play my guitar and just see what happens after, again, doing Instacart for a little bit in the morning. But yeah, like I said, I'm just antsy today because more than anything else, I want the van at 100%. I want this apartment emptied down to the bare minimum. I'm going to be selling everything in the next 3 weeks, and I want the title here. I want both titles here, because as soon as they're here, it's on, and I'm out, and this no longer becomes this kind of, oh, it's almost happening thing, but a reality. And I know and understand why some people might be fearful on the thought of living in a van, whereas I'm just like, I can't frickin' wait, because I won't be paying rent. I won't be paying electricity. I'll only be paying my insurance, my gas, and my phone to start with. That's really it. Food is food no matter where you are. I'm going to eat out living in the van as much as I eat out living at home. I'm going to eat the same kind of breakfast, muffin, maybe a bowl of cereal, maybe a piece of fruit. That doesn't take a whole lot of refrigeration. Just a decent cooler for a 3 days. And I've been looking at the ones that have like that 5-6 day kind of guarantee. So I figure I can kind of reuse some of that water for rinsing certain things off, as it melts, rinse certain things off, capturing some of it just to clean my face. Give me a nice little brisk wake up kind of type of thing. But yeah, I'm excited to get out there because there are so many things that I want to do and so many things that I actually think could create a better future for me rather than just sitting in an apartment watching rent go up and up and up and up and just working the jobs that barely get us all by. Because even though $15 an hour is a start, it doesn't really get you far. I mean, I hate to admit it, but $15 an hour even these days does not get you far. You almost need $20, $25 an hour just to really breathe. Um, and so I'm going to take some of that tension out of my life and see what other avenues of income and freedom are out there. And I am really going to stop talking now because this has reached 20 minutes and nobody's going to watch this whole damn thing. So I'm out.